Hello again, welcome to Right Brain's Revolution. I'm glad to see new faces here from many parts of the world. This is our third meeting, and today, third or even fourth, I may be confused. And today we're going to focus on a very important aspect of our personality that is related to our inability to connect to our right brain. And within this message, I'm saying that understanding this part also holds the secret to a better connection to right brain's abilities, skills. Once we realize what is blocking us, we can start removing the blocks and start I would say, crossing the wall towards better connection between our left logical brain and our right intuitive, creative, spiritual brain. We're talking today about our exaggerated self-criticism, or sometimes it is called the inner critic or the inner cop, or you name it many ways. Hello, Jerry. And I'm going to describe a little bit about this partner personality, which is the first video in the series of 18 videos about this topic. And then I will say a few words about this, and then we'll speak. There's a lot to talk about this part in human personality. So let's begin with watching together the video, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. How to stop the exaggerated inner critic in our lives. Welcome to this program, to this course, which I believe is one of the most important things for people's life, for people's growth, healing, etc. Most of the people still are not aware of the fact that their lives is so heavily influenced and determined by exaggerated inner critic, a kind of inner cop that they have to live with all their lives. And the bigger problem is that they do not notice it, that they are under continuous surveillance, continuous negative influence, limiting influence made of their own inner critic. The main boundaries, the main limitation of people is in themselves. And another very important thing that many people are not aware of this yet is not only that there is a continuous presence of exaggerated inner criticism, but there is also a way to reduce it. This is what we're here for. So we are here for two goals that merge into one. Two goals. First, to improve our awareness, to actually acknowledge the disturbance of this part of our personality in terms of expressing our creativity, being more flexible, being more original, being free, being able to do things that we are not able just because we criticize ourselves too much. That's it. Many things that you want to do and you don't know why you cannot do, it's just because you criticize yourself and you don't give yourself the right chance, the right opportunities to do it, because your inner critic does not allow you, and you don't even try, and you don't know that you could have succeeded, but you didn't allow yourself because you surrendered to your inner critic. I am going to teach you how to overcome this part in your personality, of course, if you would like to learn this, if you would like to change this in you. Around you, many people suffer the same thing, but they will not admit it. They do not acknowledge it. They were trained, educated, raised to adapt to their inner critic, to live with it, actually to surrender to it, and to allow it to control their lives. So if you would like to rebel against it, I'm here for you. Let's go, let's begin. We have 18 chapters, and these 18 chapters contain 6 parts. In each part, 3 chapters. 6 times 3 equals 18. So, part 1, a close acquaintance, a close meeting with the inner critic. We would like to get closer and to know as much as we can about this part in our personality. Chapter 1. Wait a second, I just need to do something in my computer. Let's go. And yes, this is my habit. When I make recordings, sometimes I just a bit deviate to other stuff and then I return. I hope it's okay for you, and it is part of the way I'm making the videos. So we don't stay too serious, too official here. Okay, it's here in my home. It's not a special studio, etc. It is my cellular phone in which I'm recording this program. And this is my policy. This is my philosophy. Being simple, being human, and at the same time talking about important things for human, for you and for me. Chapter 1. Expanding awareness to our exaggerated inner critic is necessary for his change. Expanding awareness. I would like you to acknowledge. I would like you to spot it. I would like you to have kind of instincts so you can catch your inner criticism when it is in action. I would like you to expand your understanding that you limit yourself, that you're limiting yourself right now. Many times in which you doubt your ability to do something, times that you doubt yourself, doubt your beliefs, many times in which you kind of saying to yourself negative things about what you did or what you didn't do. You kind of punish yourself. Many times when you are over disappointed by yourself. Many times in which you say, I didn't do it right. It's not good that I made mistakes. I am not supposed to make mistakes. I want you to practice listening to this negative voice. I guess that if you have come here, you are already know something about this. It is not that new for you. Let's say that if we want to take care of our inner criticism, we would like to know as much as we can about it. We would like to have as big as possible awareness of its function, but not only through understanding of how it works or even why it is there, but more important, to learn how to recognize it in real time when it comes. It can come through some kind of negative feeling about yourself, negative attitude toward yourself, or in times where other people criticize you and you believe their criticism. You criticize yourself after they did it to you. You feel that I am not good. I am not okay. It happens so often that we fail to spot it, fail to recognize it. And here you are going to get better
in finding the times, in finding the language, finding the words of your inner critic, saying harsh things to you, saying things that the opposite of self-support, the opposite of self-acceptance, the opposite of believing yourself, trusting yourself, trusting that you're good, trusting that you can improve, trusting that you can do stuff that you haven't done before, trusting that it is okay if you didn't do it the same way that other people, it is okay. I'm saying this inner critic is always exaggerated. It's actually lying to you, giving you false negative information that is always exaggerated. That at the bottom line makes you feel bad with yourself, and the worst, that you actually believe it, that something is wrong with you. It's not always, it's not all day long, but it is pretty often. Your job for now is to acknowledge it. Not to surrender to it, but to acknowledge, to realize, to join me to the concept of exaggerated inner critic, exaggerated. And when we say it is exaggerated, it means that our intention is to lower it. And we will lower it, yes. You will be able, because it is only natural for us to be with less criticism and more adventurous, creative, spontaneous state of mind. Okay? It is natural. But for us to be natural again, we need to reduce our self-criticism, and this is what we're here for.
Okay, hello again, and hello to all the people who have joined us during watching the recording. This is the first recording that we watch here about the exaggerated inner critic or self-criticism. I guess there are many ways to say the same thing in English, like in all languages. I wrote a few notes, and I'm asking you also to write down everything you have in mind, questions, insights, things you would like to clarify. For some of you, it may be a new concept, because most of us are used to live together with their inner critic and feel or believe that this is the right way to live, or the only way to believe, to feel, to think, to judge, to make choices, to have relationship with myself together with this inner part that many times talk to us in a negative way. The thing that I would like to offer you here in terms of right brain's revolution is that this inner critic is in fact too much. It is excessive. And it prevents us from many good things that we want to have, and we cannot have as long as this inner critic is in the same place, having all the legitimacy to give us all these negative remarks, negative opinions. Sometimes we actually feel them as words, and sometimes it's just a general feeling, but it all ends at the same place. Feeling that I'm not good enough, or I am not able to do things, or that I am not supposed to make mistakes, or that I should never fail, or that someone else is better than me, or that I have disappointed myself. And I can continue, give you many examples of the same thing in which us more in Western society, but not all of you here are from Western society, and I'm happy that you're not. But this is the culture, this is the education. At the same time in which we are trained to think critically or to think logically, we are also trained to prevent our intuitive flow, our creative flow, our sense of adventure, our ability to make changes, to grow, to rebel against the norms, to actually find our own authentic, different, original voice. All of these, there's one entity in charge of stopping us from meeting all these good things. It is our inner critic. And its name represents its function. It criticizes. And most of the time, we don't like to be criticized. It's not pleasant. Sometimes certain amount or certain level of criticism is important. Sometimes we want to fix things. We just want to tell our friends how to do things in a better way, so they will succeed and not fail, etc. Sometimes we would like to correct our children and tell them that this is right and this is wrong. Criticism by itself, I'm not saying is bad. I'm saying that we have exaggerated inner critic, and we don't realize this because we got used to it. Many parts of the education system with all the grades and examinations that says that only a few of us can succeed, only a few of us can get good grades, and all the rest are, I don't know, failures or just medium, but they cannot succeed. Over there, we start cultivating these inner critics saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not able. I'm not as good as my neighbor or as my friend. And then we internalize this to many other places and do not allow ourselves, for example, the luxury of mistakes. We do not allow ourselves learning and growing from our failures because our inner critic is telling us that it is too bad to make mistakes, that it is too wrong to fail. But actually, no one can grow, no one can succeed, no one can change, no one can develop without serious amount of mistakes and failures. So this is the paradox. Many of us remained locked within ourselves, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of going to adventures, afraid of going against the general opinion, for example, just because this inner dictator will not like it. Now, the big question is, can we notice that we have this part in our personality, or it became embedded to us so we cannot differentiate ourselves from it? Can we look at it from a side and realize that we're actually disturbing ourselves in terms of being creative? I met this concept 27 years ago when I went through a personal change process. I finished medical school, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a doctor. I wasn't sure about anything. And I was interested mainly in cultivating my creativity. And then I read a fantastic book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And from there, I realized that I have a huge amount of creativity blocked inside me and cannot be expressed because I criticize the results of my creativity without letting it flow or develop or learn itself. So over there, I started searching for tools to reduce my inner criticism, mainly through intuitive painting. And because I have this natural gift of being a teacher, I decided to teach myself how to reduce my inner critic. So I created many manipulations and exercises, and I managed to find a way. And it was a kind of celebration because I found within me an ability to flow in a very independent way. I did not care about the results, whether it is beautiful or ugly. I did not care. The main thing I did care about was that I am free, that I have a free flow while I'm creating. And the surprising thing is that my creation became better, more beautiful, more interesting, more emotional, just because I did not care if they were beautiful or not. And later it went to my writing, to my dancing, to my everything. I started learning how I can make things better while reducing the self-criticism in action. And for me, as a psychotherapist, as a psychiatrist, it was a grand revelation to realize that one of the major components of anxiety is actually self-criticism. And many of my colleagues still don't know this fact, that the main problem in anxiety is that we criticize ourselves for being anxious. Not just the feeling of anxiety, but feeling that I'm not okay. This feeling increases the anxiety and makes it stay. Also in depression, same thing. When people are depressed, they are harsh with themselves, not knowing that this is the major component of their depression, not knowing that they can change this attitude towards themselves through practice and through awareness. And we can go further and further for many, many places. For example, addictions. We all have our addictions. Our addictions are made of exaggerated self-criticism. Whenever we return to our addiction, let's say smoking or drinking or overeating, always, always we have bad feelings about ourselves. Always. And in fact, we continue the addiction just to relieve our exaggerated inner criticism. We want a bit silence from it because it is too noisy. It is not pleasant. It is as if we are punishing ourselves from being bad, like children. So the message I would like to deliver here has two components. First, it is wise to acknowledge, to find that we don't need that much of criticism, that it prevents us from growing, from actually becoming better. We don't understand that the inner critic sometimes, or many times, or most of the times, is lying to us. It is as if it's trying to make us better, but not, it doesn't. It just stops us from doing stuff, from trying, from coping, from challenging ourselves. It doesn't make us better. So, first thing is to acknowledge that all the good stuff of right brain, creativity, spirituality, intuition, spontaneity, adventure, joy, and passion, many good things, we have them only in a minimal level as long as our inner critic is there overactive. It doesn't allow us to be too passionate. It doesn't allow us to trust our intuition. It doesn't allow us to trust our spirituality. It doesn't make sense, spirituality, right? The inner critic says, no, it's nonsense. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical, etc. Our inner critic warns us not to listen to our passion. Passion is dangerous. Be careful of your passion. Don't be reckless, etc., etc. So I would like you to realize I'm offering you this idea, this theory, this model, and at the same time, I am about to show you ways to reduce this influence of the inner criticism, actually to address it as a kind of inner dictator and learn how to rebel against this dictator and show it that we can have a better life without so much influence from it. Now, it's not easy. We got used to it personally and culturally to rely on too much self-criticism. Many of the education system is based on exaggerated inner criticism. So children learn how to reduce their creativity, how not to trust it. They learn to feel that they are not creative, that only few people are creative and all the rest, no, they're not creative, they're just ordinary people. And the more you learn about this, the more you free yourself from this inner criticism, you do find your creativity, because it's all natural to be creative, to be playful, to change, to transform stuff. It is all natural, but as long as we have this inner critic that demands proof, demands explanation, demand references in times where we don't have them, because creativity is not about references, it's not about proof, it's just flow and play and joy and courage, all things, all good things that we can put them in this basket of right brain's revolution. So in the word revolution, we can also find the word rebellion. Actually, the original word that we thought about wasn't revolution, was rebellion. But then I got confused, and instead of rebellion, I put revolution, and we put it, and we say that, okay, it will remain revolution, but still, for this revolution to take place, sometimes we're going to need to rebel against this inner dictator and say, no, 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 I don't trust you. It's okay for me to make mistakes. It's okay for me to try new stuff, even if I don't know how to do it. It's okay for me to go on adventure without planning. It's okay. I will not let you to dictate all my decisions and all my choices. I would like to play. I would like to choose from a wider perspective of options. So this is my opening words about this part of our personality. I've been working with this one for about 25 years and developed many tools, many playful to exciting tools to overcome this over control of the inner critic. All these tools are named the psycho-creative way. And here you can see Anat Rodan, who is already intuitive painting instructor and psycho-creative coach that learned to use these tools and currently is my assistant in training some more coaches. Okay, so thank you for listening. And thank you for being an audience. Now I invite you to ask any question about this, to challenge, even to bring your own inner critic to critique the information. It's okay, it's okay. Anything you would like to say, it's okay. All question adds new information and new challenges and help us understand better this voyage into the magic of right brain. So there you are. Just remember, you do it in English. So we have a common language. So you can open your mics and ask anything. I see that David wanted to say something. Hello, David. Where are you?
Hi, can you see me?
Of course.
Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you.
Where are you from, David?
David, Israel, Jaffa, Israel. I was lucky to go against my fear this morning and went to swim in an extreme cold morning, and I'm happy about it.
Oh my God.
It was wonderful. So it has to do with our conversation,
Yes.
in a way. Because
Yes,
I'd like to comment something. I'd like to comment something. There is an amazing book written by James Allen more than 100 years ago. It's called As a Man Thinketh. And the main idea is that the real freedom is actually from the limitations that our thinking and thoughts is creating. So what you're talking about is actually that we are putting ourselves in a cage and depriving ourselves of self-freedom to express who we are because we are blocked in a cage, and we are the prisoner as well as the soer, how do you say? I forgot the name. The one who is in charge to I forgot the soer. Anyway, the people who are guarding the prisoners. I forgot the word in English.
Okay.
Anyway,
I think they're called prison guards, actually, just like that.
prison guards. Okay, thanks. Maybe there's another word, but never mind. So in a way, maybe all problems in the world, the lack of expression of love and comradeship and togetherness in our world is actually stems from within us, not outside.
Yeah.
I'd like to take it to this view because, in my opinion, we are one. The whole world, the whole universe is one. And one in Hebrew is the same like love, with geometry anyway, with whatever you call it. So it's important just to express this. I'd like to express this, to put emphasis to it, not take it only to the blocking of our self-creativity. It's the world creativity. It's the whole universe creativity, in my opinion, to create a better world.
Well, it was nice, David, to see how you in one point where you were speaking, I saw your eyes as if you came into a very special insight while you were speaking. That was lovely to see it. Okay, so I agree. And I agree that the whole drama is within us and then it's projected outwards. And many times we fail to notice that the main work, the main change is within us. And I don't know how it is in Poland. I think in Israel, we believe we have democracy. Well, not so much. I think in the United States also, it is pretty challenged. But this is a social, national issue, prevents us from thinking, am I in a self-democracy? Am I free inside me? Or am I in a kind of self-dictatorship, not knowing this, but screaming for freedom in my country, but yet inside me, I am so afraid of the next step. I'm afraid of change. I'm afraid of being spontaneous. I'm afraid of adventure. I'm afraid of love, like David said. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of pain, afraid. And this fear nurtures my inner critic that is trying to prevent me from meeting all the pain and fear, and then I stay locked and limited in a place where inner critic defines me as the safe place to be in, quite narrow place. Okay, thank you, David. Who else wants to share, ask, comment, whatever? It's so nice to see new people here, new faces. Okay, so when you start talking, just present yourself, where you're from. Is it your first time or not? I have to tell you, I do seven lessons in Hebrew regularly about many things, about abundance, about transformation, about transformation of rape, but it is quite different to do it international. It is a different energy, very special. Okay, so yeah, who wants to talk to us?
I'm happy to say hi because I'm in Newry.
Hello, Tammy, right?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm an Israeli. My name is Tamar. I live in London for probably best part of over 30 years now, although you can't see it because I'm ever so young, but I moved here at a very early age. And yeah, today was a special day because my friend has been telling me about you, and she sent me a link just now to say, "Oh, here's one in English, which you can jump on." And I didn't really mean it, but I clicked the button and I found myself on a live chat with all these lovely faces. So I felt it would be rude to kind of disappear. And I believe also it's not a coincidence. So today is a very special day because it's the 25th of the 2nd, 2025. It's supposed to be a day where there's interesting preparations or invitations to take a quantum leap, as they call it, and really wish for something that has been, I guess, an obstacle or stumbling point in our life for many, many years, with awareness or without, something that we wish to leave behind, and take today as an opening to meditate and to ask for that. So when I popped in, and I really only just unfortunately caught the back end of your conversation, but I gathered you talking about the reptile brain and how it's really sometimes our worst enemy, especially when it goes into survival. And yeah, I'm totally really emphasizing with that. So I'm glad to be here. I've been doing a lot of work on that myself and looking at everything that the world brings to me as a reflection externally, is a reflection of obviously something inside that needs, maybe I wouldn't say fixing, but maybe more work or transformation. So yeah, I don't know if you've mentioned at the beginning, but I'd like you to maybe say what you're thinking about today and the energy of this special day today. I know, was it David next to me on the screen that was mentioning about numerology? So
Well, just let me update you because you knew. In this space, we call it Right Brains Revolution. Our aim is to facilitate in increasing our skills as far as right brain skills. So this chapter is about reducing the self-criticism or reducing the impact of the inner critic, first of all, by getting to know how it functions and the limitations that it causes us, and then to acquire tools, actual tools, effective tools to reduce it. This is the
fantastic.
focus of this meeting. And no, we did not focus about the date. I know it's a very special date, but here we are here. So it's a special date also because you joined us. By the way,
Thank
you are
you.
Israeli, but you do have a British accent. We can hear it.
30 years,
So,
I can't. The British will still say that I sound like an Israeli. So thank you.
okay. Thank you very much,
I'm proud
Tanya,
of my accent.
and welcome. Thank you for joining us.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Who else wants to talk to us, to share your own experience, past experience, thoughts about the way your inner critic influenced your life, or new insights about this topic or questions? Maybe it's new for you.
I would like to say something.
Okay, just introduce yourself, please.
My name is Vardit, and I'm from Israel. And I would like to attempt to speak in English because it's not something that I do very often.
Good. Do not let your inner critic disturb you in doing
Right.
so.
I have, since I'm really very interested in the differences between the two hemispheres, and I think this is the evolution of human beings, and I think that you're right in calling it a revolution, kind of moving from the left brain to right brain as a way of looking at the world. And I wonder if the criticism stems from the left side of the brain, and taking into account that it's like all our socialization from a very young age is kind of dependent on it to make it to be achievers, to be in competition with one another, in grading, in everything that we know that is causing all the ills of the world. They're coming from the left brain worldview. So I wonder if you have anything to say about that.
Okay, thank you, Verdit. First of all, I would like to give you kind of perspective about the Western society. A few hundreds years ago, they were called not even few hundreds years ago. This was the Dark Ages. Dark Ages in which the church determined everything, the way we were thinking, reality, science, everything was determined only by the church. And then there was the Renaissance Revolution, in which people decided that the church will not govern the knowledge or the thinking, and then science was born, and everything had to be proved or validated. And from there grew the technology that we have known to these days. And this something that we may call as left brain development, while right brain over there, let's say the mystical part of the spiritual, was referred as non-science, and something that was the esoteric thing that was used by the church to control people. So I would say that the right brain was heavily neglected at the same time where the left brain developed rapidly in terms of creating science, technology to this day, so we can speak here in Zoom meeting thanks to the technology. And then a new imbalance occurred when we became too logic. And people start looking for the other side of their lives, their feelings, their creativity, their spirituality, their passion, their desires. People want to fulfill dreams. Well, the logical brain is pretty limited over there and is trying to interfere with its own tools, namely criticism. And back then, in the Renaissance, criticism was very important, to criticize the church, to criticize what they said was truth. It wasn't. And so we developed this inner criticism as a way to get better until it reached a peak. Okay? And now I believe that there is a new wave, a new evolution that says, well, there is a huge other intelligence that we are looking for, that we want to taste from, that so many things now are growing in terms of alternative medicine, spirituality, channelings, etc., many workshops. People want to find purpose for their lives, and their left brain cannot bring them. The left brain is always about reducing the uncertainty. And this is what the inner critic is trying to do, to limit the uncertainty. But all the creativity, all the good stuff is there in the uncertain places. Okay, so I believe we are part of this evolution. Let's say we're creating a new equilibrium. So now we don't need only left brain. We need both of them to cooperate. But for this to happen, we have to make some revolution. So right brain will take its place and will bring its intelligence so they can work together. This is the reason for this revolution. So I can say that there is the science of intuition, the science of spirituality. There are rules over there. There are equations over there. There is holy geometry over there. But if you take it to the formal science, we say, well, this is nonsense. You cannot prove it, so it doesn't exist. Well, does love exist? Does passion exist? Can we measure love? Can we measure jealousy? Can we measure how we miss someone? Can we measure pain? Not exactly. But inside our heart, yes, we can measure. This is right brain territory. So we would like to learn more about this intelligence that doesn't follow the same rule of the left brain intelligence. Okay? Different rules, different place. But for this to happen, we need to make some revolution because left brain took over too much, the same as the inner critic now is too high. So I hope I gave you some answers because I don't remember your question at all, but I think seeing yourself, seeing your smile, I think some of the information was helpful. But by the way, this is the way right brain works. It takes us to a journey. And you start from one point and then you travel and somehow you may return or not. But this trip always brings you to beautiful, important places. This is how creativity works. We cannot plan our creation too much. If we can plan it, it's not creativity. If it doesn't surprise us, it's not creativity. And if we want to criticize it, it will not be creativity. Okay? Creativity is that we face the uncertainty and we walk inside it and we find new and nice places inside it. Okay, thank you, Verdit. Who else wants to stimulate this discussion?
I don't know if it will stimulate the discussion, but I would like to share something.
Who are you?
My name is Ayala. I live in Israel, in a very pleasant place. And I wanted to share two things. The one being that I had a conversation, I conversed with Anat a couple of days ago, and she said that words come from the left brain territory. And I said that word games comes from the right brain territory because it's a game and it's creative. And if I've mentioned already the word games, then right brain's revolution has another aspect, because when we are attentive to the intuition, we are right. When we only attend to the left brain information, we are often wrong. So it's a double right, the right brain and the right revolution.
Yeah.
And another small thing, I appreciate the fact that at least at the beginning, you are referring to the exaggerated self-criticism. Because in my experience and my feeling, there is some self-criticism that is not only needed, but even healthy to maintain the interactions with ourselves and with others. So exaggerated is right on place. Toda for that. Thank you.
I will even add painful self-criticism, punishing self-criticism. In terms of psychology theories, we go back to Freud. Freud said that we have this thing called superego. And the superego is the one part in our mind is unconscious. And what we refer here to the inner critic, we make it conscious. We can spot it. But the superego that Freud believed exists is the one that is always there trying to prevent us from being, from acting like animals, from following our instincts too fast, for not helping us being in control with our basic desires. So there's always a fight between the id with all the desires and the superego says, no, 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 and I will punish you. I will make you be in great pain just because you dared to express your instincts or your sexual desires or your violent desires, etc. Okay? But here we are talking about something that is more day-to-day, even about just trying new things, let's say I would like to dance, and then I feel, no, I'm not good in dancing. It doesn't look nice. I won't dance. I don't want to be too wild. Don't want this freedom. And then all this obsession inside my mind is managed by my inner critic instead of me dancing all the time. So my mental energy is wasted with this exaggerated inner critic. And at the same time, I do need a level of inner criticism to learn from mistakes, to guard myself, not to make dangerous moves. Okay? And this is something that we need it every day. But when it is exaggerated, then it blocks my growth. And this is what I refer to here. And then it also creates anxiety, depression, frustration, problems in relationships, etc. Okay, so I would say you can feel it as a painful criticism. I'm not just feeling that I failed, I feel bad with my failure. I cannot stand myself now. This is the exaggerated inner criticism. Okay, who else wants to share something with us or to ask or to challenge or to share experience? Yes, Jerry, but open your microphone.
Thank you for the last thing you just said, because I was trying to think about that kind of balance as you were talking, because there's certain things that we do have to criticize, but I hear now what you're saying. It's when it goes from, I'll just use these words, I don't know if they're the right ones, from kind of self-criticism to shame, where we're bad because we tripped. We're a bad person, rather than, no, I got to learn to pick up my feet a little bit better. So I like that you said that last thing, that there is a place for self-criticism, which is different than the big self-critic that shames us and makes us feel like we shouldn't even have been born, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and
So
I can also make the differentiation between the self-criticism that help us learn, help us know better, help us improve, and the one that doesn't help us learn, but actually stops us from learning and stop us from attempting again or from listening, because we just need to hide with the shame until this feeling is gone. But they look alike. The similar words, but exaggerate. It's like the volume of the criticism is just higher. And this is where we need to be careful, because many times, as far as right brain skills, being intuitive, being creative, when we try to get there, we face exaggerated inner critic that says, be careful, it is wrong. You will make mistakes, be careful. And it is similar to the one, be careful, do not cross the street, be careful. And we need to differentiate between the one that is helpful and it is practical, and the one that prevents us from freedom, creativity, exploring life, changing, etc. So this is what we would like to make the difference, okay? And this one also contains shame and pain and feeling bad with myself. And the other one, no, it's just about learning how to do things the right way. So it is the emotional tone that determines whether it is exaggerated or not. Even between parents and their children, how would we like to teach our children that they did something wrong? Do we want them to feel ashamed, or just do we want them to learn to differentiate between right and wrong? And it's many times it is the tone, the way we told them, not just the content, but the way. Sometimes we actually project our own shame on our children, and we don't even pay attention to this. Okay? All right. Thank you. Who else wants to share something or to tell something? And just remind you that this meeting is recorded, so you will be able to watch it again and again as many times as you want. Yeah. While you're thinking.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Anat from
No, I
California.
want to share something small. I had this workshop here. I'm Anat, I'm from Los Angeles, and I had a workshop here during the weekend for friends and family that were affected by the fires here. And I had a 97-year-old here. And we started painting, intuitive painting. And oh, it was her first experience with letting go of criticism and this fluidity. And she said, let's do it all day. Let's do it every day. It was just, oh my gosh, was amazing to be in this space with an elderly woman that experiencing something so powerful for the first time. It was mind-blowing. It was truly such a gift. So
Wow.
thank you for all your teachings. Thank you.
Wow, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And you see that right brain is available every time, even we've passed 97 years or maybe less. Maybe when she was a child, she did play, but you know, it was in the previous century. Back then, my God, it was in 1930 something, okay? And so many years passed, and still through some exercises, we can awaken right brain to start playing, start working, and this is a good feeling for her. So she would like to have more of this.
Yes.
All right. That's nice. Now, let me give you another thing before we finish. Just think about something that you have always dreamt to do, or you saw someone else doing it and you felt a little, you envy, you feel jealous. I would like to do it also, but no, I cannot do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the talent. I don't have the resources. Then you have all this list of excuses. Well, we are very, very creative in creating excuses, you know? We are very effective. So all these excuses are the result of the intensive work of our inner critic that made sure that we will not try to fulfill the dreams. So many of our dreams are doable, but as long as we don't realize that there is exaggerated inner critic around, we won't understand why we cannot move towards fulfilling the dreams. There is a block over there, but we fail to see it. It's transparent, but we cannot move. We feel that it's not possible. Well, many times it is possible once you reduce the inner critic.